Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to share with you our summer books. This year is extra special because, as you know, I film these videos every year, every season, and in each video obviously there's going to be overlaps where books from previous years show up in the next year's video. However, today all these books are new. You will not have seen any of these books on my channel before, so hopefully you'll get loads of inspiration for beautiful summer themed books that you can read with your children. So I'm going to jump straight into it, and before I get going I have to apologise, I do look insanely disheveled and exhausted. It's been a long day. I've done school tours, getting ready for a huge cooking thing for people tonight. It's just been a lot, so I'm a bit hot. But I really wanted to film this and yeah, get this up because summer is well underway now, and there's just so many beautiful books that we can be reading with our children. First up is this beautiful book by Alison J, and this is a wordless book called Out of the Blue, and it's all about this beautiful seaside beach, and also this giant octopus that gets stranded on the shore. There's loads of intricate illustrations in this book, very dreamy, and there's also this giant octopus at the end. Apparently giant octopus are actually a thing, so it's quite interesting at the back. She does put in some information on some of the creatures and things that you might see, including lighthouses. So really good find, this one. I got this second hand, so it's an absolute bargain, and just like I said, there's so much to look at in it. Really beautiful, and then lots of interesting things that you can then go off and research. Another beautiful seaside themed book is Fletcher and the Rockpool by Julia Rawlinson and Tiffany Beek. So this is all about a rock pool that loses its water, and little Fletcher is very worried about this and tries to save his little friends, but then learns about the tides. As all of these Fletcher's books are absolutely stunning, as you can see. The illustrations are so beautiful and gentle, very Waldorfy, and the storyline is gentle and interesting. It's just perfection in a book, really gorgeous. I highly recommend the whole Fletcher series. They are so perfect. I've never got a bad word to say about this series. It's a beautiful series to gift as presents, and also the perfect read aloud with your family as well. It's just a stunning series, so I love this one. I was really excited to get my hands on the Wildwood Elves, illustrated by Gerda Muller, who we all know and love, and the stories by Anne-Marie Chaputon. Apologies if I got that wrong. And it says on the back, in a faraway village hidden beneath a great beech tree live the tiny Wildwood Elves. One sunny day, the Wildwood Elves are happily baking bread, growing vegetables and gathering berries when a friendly seabird offers to take them on an adventure to somewhere they've never been before, the seaside. So a lovely adventure story of these gorgeous little elves visiting the seaside. Perfect for this time of year and just so magical. And of course, Gerda Muller is a master illustrator, so anything by her is always going to be such a treat. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this with my boys. It is beautiful. Our bedtime book last night was this beautifully illustrated book called When I Was a Pirate by Tom Silson and Ua Pokluska Kauzello. I mean, that's a hard one to pronunciate, sorry. This is such a lovely book, and one that I really wanted to get my hands on for a while. I'm really into the illustrations in this. They're colourful, cheery, bright and beautiful, and it's all about a grandpa pirate telling his grandchildren about his amazing adventures on his pirate ship, and also just talks a little bit about age and getting older as well. It's incredibly charming, a quick, fun read, very poetic actually, and I really enjoyed this one. Both my boys adored it, so I would give this a full 5 out of 5, and I would recommend it to any child that loves pirates. Another beautiful seaside themed book is I Will Swim Next Time by Emily Juffe and Matilda Ruta. This book is all about a little child who's nervous about swimming in the sea, and gradually their fears ebbs as their curiosity flows. But playing in the water still doesn't feel right. Maybe next time. And I love this because obviously taking your kids to the sea or the swimming pool can be quite nerve-wracking for them when they're little. And this one talks about their fears and how it's okay. And also I just think the illustrations are beautiful and eye-catching. So a lovely book and perfect if you do have a child that's a little bit cautious about water. So I love this one. I'm going to change it up now to the second theme from my summer book collection, and that is the circus. We went to the circus last month and it was such an exciting experience, but also it actually slightly overloaded my autistic son, as you can imagine. So after that I thought, well, I obviously need more circus books, and when I started researching into circus books, I realised they would be the perfect, magical, adventurous kind of theme for summer. So I've got quite a few circus books here today to share with you. First up is Michael Bond's Paddington at the Circus. I mean, Paddington books are always fantastic. The stories are always funny and really appealing to children. The illustrations are great. So I picked this one up because I just thought it had all the elements of a good circus, and of course, who doesn't love Paddington? And I did find this incredibly beautiful wordless circus book. It's called The Circus and it's illustrated by Brian Wildsmith. And this is so beautiful. The colours and the illustrations are very captivating in this book, and I absolutely could not resist it. Just look at that. It's so beautiful. And while there's not a story, there was just so many beautiful things to look at. And yeah, I had to add this to our collection. I thought this book would be really great for, obviously younger children would enjoy it, but also older children who are interested in art. The illustrations in this are so stunning that they would make a really good jump off point for any child that's interested in design, fashion design, painting, printing. There's just so much possibility in this book, and as someone who went to art college, I just looked at this and just got so many ideas. So if you do have a little artist in the house, I would highly recommend investing in books like this, which are just a feast for the eyes, because they will definitely inspire your child. You could also, if you have a child that's into writing, you could use these pictures as a jump off point for writing prompts. So yeah, I just thought this was a real treat. Back to the Sea is this book by Anna Wilson and Jenny Lovely, I believe it's pronounced, and it's called The Wild Wide Sea. And again, this is one that's been on my wish list for a while, and it says on the back, a child makes a special connection with a seal and is taken on an unforgettable imaginative journey. But one day a violent storm blows in, and the next morning the beach is covered in litter. Whose fault is it, and who can fix it? So once again, as expected, stunning illustrations. Just look at that, so evocative and magical. I just really was blown away by this book. It's lovely. And the storyline is very quick to read, which is nice sometimes for a bedtime story. Great if for a child who's reading themselves, and has obviously a good environmental slant to it, because at the end it's all about picking up the litter and making the beaches a safe place for our beautiful creatures like the seal. Yeah, a really great book. I do find these Nosy Crow National Trust collaborative books incredibly good. All the ones that we've ever purchased or been gifted from Nosy Crow and National Trust have always been so inspirational, and I really like this one. And it's actually really affordable as well, so a really lovely book to purchase. And actually, sadly, if you are going to the beach, it's quite likely your child will comment on the litter. I noticed when we went to our beach there was litter on the ground, and my youngest did ask, like, what is that? And this book is a nice one to read with them, to kind of explain what rubbish is and how we can pick it up and make a difference. So a beautiful addition to our summer bookshelves. So I'm sure most of you are aware of this beautiful series, published by Chronicle Kids. There's quite a few in this series that you might already have some of these. We have Over and Under the Snow and Up and Down in the Dirt, and we really, really love those. So I wanted this one as well, Over and Under the Waves. This is a very gentle, poetic story. Lots of lovely descriptive words, really interesting illustrations. And obviously covers this lovely idea of over and under the waves, which is illustrated beautifully in that picture there. So I have read this and I thought it was really beautiful, and yeah, I'm so glad that we have another book in the series. At the back there's lots of nice information on some of the sea life that's mentioned in the book, and birds and things like that. So really lovely little addition. And if you remember my summer video from last year, I had quite a heavy fairy theme, and actually my video from last year contains some incredible books, so I really, really recommend you check them out. There's a few of my all-time favourite books in that video, so definitely don't miss out on that one if you haven't watched it before. But I did love the idea of carrying on with a few fairy books into this the bookshelves, and this one is just a bit of a stunner. It's Through the Fairy Door by Lars van der Goor, I believe, and it's got like really unique illustration style, these sort of photographs mixed with drawings, and it says, "No one is ever too small to make a difference," said the fairy. "Remember, a tiny acorn can grow into a giant oak. Step through the fairy door to enter a world where nature's little helpers nourish the earth and turn the seasons, and discover how change starts with you." So this one goes through all the seasons, as you can see, and it's all about this little girl entering this fairy world. So it's very magical. And at this time of year, I do remember being a child myself and just spending so much time outside in the garden and always trying to find fairies and things like that. So this would have really captured my imagination as a child, and I'm excited to share it with my boys. Another really great fairy themed book is The Flower Garden by Renee Carilla, a graphic novel or comic book, so great for children who are independently reading. And it's got these really fantastic colourful illustrations that I love, and not too many words. As you can see, it's almost a wordless book, it's fair to say. And yeah, it's just got this really sweet story of these two girls, friends, who end up shrinking and going into this fairy world. And it's actually really fun. I read it and I absolutely loved it. It's really magical and fun, and I'll see if I can find the illustration of the magical world. So there's the burrows and all the different fairies. It's just brilliant. So yeah, this would work well for slightly older children. A really magical read. I think both my boys will love this, but particularly my eldest. And yeah, a great one if you've got kids who are starting to enjoy graphic novels. I think this is a real winner. So on the other end of things, I've got this lovely series called Blackberry Farm, which is perfect for very small people. I would say 2 and 3 or up to 4 would probably be perfect. This is actually quite a large series, Blackberry Farm. I remember having a couple of these when I was little and really liking them. So the storyline is really sweet, and it's about these little animals having a sports day and all the different races they have and who wins what. It's really captivating and really lovely. I read it to my youngest, who is just 4, and he really adored it. It was perfect for him actually. And yeah, the illustrations are quite fun, very retro, and like I said, there are tons of books in this series, so if your child really enjoys them, you're gonna have a great time collecting them all. On to the circus theme. This is Nell and the Circus of Dreams by Nell Gifford and Bryony May Smith. So Nell Gifford is the founder of the incredible Gifford Circuses, which I have been lucky enough to attend one in Gloucestershire, and I loved it. And this story is, I think, maybe inspired by how Nell started the circus, I could be wrong. But really what pulled me to this was obviously the circus theme, but I am a huge fan of Bryony Mae Smith's illustrations. So this was kind of like the magic combination. So it starts off with a little girl who, it's her summer holidays, but she's spending a lot of time alone because her mummy's not feeling very well. And she ends up finding the circus and befriending everyone there. And she gets to know the circus and basically fall in love with it and eventually create her own. So as you can see, the illustrations are pure magic, which I think makes this book applicable to many ages because it's just so inspiring. And yeah, just lovely. Anything by Bryony Mae Smith is just high up there in my favourites list. So next up is Bubbles Up, and this is by Jacqueline Davis. I've wanted this book for quite a while actually, because my eldest son is obsessed with the water, and I just think the illustrations in this are incredible. I love them. So I purchased this just as much for myself as my children. It's got not so much a storyline, but sort of descriptive words about the water and diving into it. Then there's a thunderstorm and they come out, and then diving back into the water and all the bubbles going up. And it's just really stunning. I really just needed this in my collection and I absolutely love it. Beautiful for any child who's just into swimming or interested in water. Yeah, beautiful one for our shelves. Back into even more sea themed books, we've got Molly and the Dolphins by Malachy Doyle and Andrew Whitson. So this one is all about Molly, and her dad is a fisherman, and she is taught how to sail a little dinghy, and she helps some dolphins that get tangled up, and it's really, like, look at that, so beautiful. It's a really great little adventurous story about this girl on her boat. Beautiful evocative pictures of the sea and the sunset, and beautiful dolphins. So if you've got anyone here in your house who loves dolphins, this would be a great book for them. Slightly more longer book, this is Lobsterman, written and illustrated by Dahlov Ipka. And again, this is what I got because I needed these illustrations in my life. And it's the story of a little boy whose father is a lobsterman, and he's basically learning the trade, and they pick fish and they make supper together, and it is just lovely. Loads of like really interesting facts about fishing and lobsters and things like that. And just look at that, it's like retro heaven. I absolutely love this. Look at that picture. Just magical, really, really beautiful. So it does give you a really good feeling of what it would be like to be a lobsterman, and that's why I wanted this. I just think it's really interesting, and both my children love fishing, so I thought they would enjoy this. So next up is Little Grey Rabbit Goes to the Sea. And I love these Little Grey Rabbit books. They're so beautiful. The illustrations are really like nostalgic and gentle. And this is the story of Little Grey Rabbit and her friends going to the sea and all their little adventures they go on. I did read it one night and it was just beautiful. You can't really go wrong with these Little Grey Rabbit books. They're just kind and soft and very charming. So a lovely one to add into something like a summer basket or as a little gift. It's the perfect book for children who are starting to read by themselves or who want longer stories. This is Mouse and Mole, The Secret of Happiness by Joyce Dunbar and James Matthew, and this is the latest, I think, in the series. We've had many Mouse and Mole books before, and they've never let me down. They're always incredibly charming, such sweet stories. Great if your child loves Brambley Hedge and loves those kind of like dear little animal tales. This is perfect. As you can see, the illustrations are outstanding, and the story's really gentle and lovely as well. So I highly recommend any Mouse and Mole books, but this I think was a particularly good choice for summer. I was really, really excited to pick up a copy of Fox and the Deep Sea Quest by Benjamin Flow. We had the first one in this series, which is Fox and the Golden Glow, I think, which is a lovely story for summer or autumn. And this one is all themed around Fox going on an adventure to find this aquatic plant, I think. What I love about these books is they do these style of illustration where they show you all the things he's going to take with him and all the different creatures and things like that. And then Fox is just like this clever little creature who loves to learn things and is quite scientific. And I just love this character so much. I love all these details. Such a gorgeous book. I really love this series, and I do hope that Benjamin Flow, apologies if I got that name wrong, will come out with more in this series because they are really gorgeous. Highly recommend. And just like beautifully published, just the whole thing is just really gorgeous. So that's Fox and the Deep Sea Quest. A stunning wordless book to celebrate the circus is Peter Spier's Circus. And I was really pleased with this when it turned up. I got the second hand, but it is really fantastic if you've got a child that loves small details. And this, oh, actually I'm wrong. This does have words. For some reason I thought it didn't, even though I have looked at it before. So it does have words, but I was mainly looking at it as a sort of fine detail picture book. But look at this, there's just so much to see. Really magical. I have read this to my children. Well, I have looked at this with my children. I lie, I have not read it. And they were just in love with it. There's so many different things to look at and discuss. And as you can see, it's actually quite a long book as well. And there's the circus going away. Really beautiful. I haven't got any other books by Peter Spier, but I definitely will look them up now because this really just completely shocked me how beautiful it was. And like I said, the time and effort gone into those illustrations just make it so interesting to look at. And yes, I haven't even read it. I just immediately was just absorbed in by those illustrations because the level of detail is just so incredible. So I think this would be a beautiful one for any age because of that. The very last book I have is a very nostalgic book for me, and it's Michelle Cartledge's Mousehole Mice. Now, this is quite an old book, but you can pick these up secondhand on most websites. But you can, I think they actually, I think there might be one that's still in print. But as you can see, the pictures in these books are just gorgeous. Again, very brambly hedge feel factor to them, lots of detail, and these lovely little mouse family going on a holiday to the beach. And I stumbled across this book because I have a little tin illustrated by Michelle Cartledge with these beautiful mice on it that my grandmother gave me many years ago when I was a child. And I looked it up, I looked on the back and saw her name, so I looked it up and realised she had books out. And obviously I had to get some, so this is my very first one that I picked up, and I will definitely get more because they are just the most prettiest little pictures, and I really love this mouse family so much. They're so cute, and little shop and things like that. So I'm sure most of you will also really like this series as well because it's very much in keeping with, like I say, Brambly Hedge and Little Grey Rabbit and things like that. Very charming. So that is it. That are all those, I can barely talk. Those are all the books I got my boys for summer. They're very lucky, I know. I also want to just say thank you so much to the publishers who gave me some of the books that I requested, because it allowed me to make this video for you with fresh books. Now, quite a lot of these books I did purchase myself, but a few were gifted, and it makes such a difference because then I can show you the books I really want to show you, but I can actually afford to do this. I don't think I would have been able to afford quite so many new books otherwise. But I do hope this has given you lots of inspiration, and over the summer you've got plenty of time to read some stunning books. You should be able to find a lot of these in your local library, or perhaps you're looking for gift ideas and this has given you some inspiration. I hope it has. Thank you so much for being here and for watching these videos. And thank you so much for your lovely comments. Quite a few of you DM me on Instagram and tell me how much you love these videos. And that means the world to me. I'm so glad that I can be of help in some way and give you some inspiration around beautiful books. Because I do believe like beautiful books absolutely change your child's life and add so much richness and beauty and excitement for learning and literacy So if I can help in any way, I'm so delighted. If you want to support the channel, please feel free to check out my Rooted community, Rooted membership over on Patreon. That's where I host it. There's workshops each month, Q&As, all sorts of lovely delights over there. So do check it out. And there's also the option just to be a supporter for, I think it's like $3.50 a month. I also have a slow parenting workshop uploaded over on that Rooted membership, which you can access once you become a member, and of course you can cancel any time, no issues at all. So do go over and support that if you can, and if you've got any requests, let me know, leave me a message or a comment, and I will be sure to add that to the list. And of course I hope you have a beautiful summer with your family. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!